Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Shane with Shane Media. In this video, I want to quickly discuss 2004's Saw. Let's get into it. So in this video, I'm going to tell you why I love the first Saw so much and why it's the only one I watch and why I refuse to watch any of the others. See, certain movies try to be larger than life and try to be smarter than the audience, and you can tell the filmmaker is priding himself in the intellectual nature of said movie. Sometimes this works really well, but mainly only when the audience truly has no idea what's coming. An example of a movie that did this almost perfectly was James Wan's Saw from 2004. The original stands on its own as the undisputed king of this franchise, and honestly probably the undisputed king of that entire era of horror. You could tell James Wan wanted to make this a much more grounded movie and found value in its simplicity. The story and its characters were in a much more grounded reality and not put in larger than life situations, so when you got to the twist at the end, it hit the way it was supposed to because you weren't expecting it, which is where I think the sequels really failed, because by the third movie you knew to expect some sort of a twist, and if you know a twist is coming, it takes the gut punch out of it. While each subsequent sequel tried to outdo the last by upping the gore, they all suffered in the character and plot department, and with each movie you got diminishing returns in both of these things, and it was clear that the filmmakers were completely losing sight of what made the original film so great. Many people associate the original Saw with the torture porn genre, and I have always begged to differ. While there were definitely early elements of that trope in this film, it was certainly used much more sparingly. In fact, there was actually very little blood in this film at all, and most of the kills were off-screen and left to your imagination. Where the other movies failed and this one succeeded was clearly in the psychological factor. This movie was more of a film noir psychological thriller, and was a clear homage to earlier films like Seven, and while Seven is clearly the superior film, I think Saw was a good addition to that subgenre. You're actually invested in each character in this film, from the detective played by Danny Glover all the way to Leigh Whannell and Cary Elwes' characters. The movie sparingly used misdirection to keep you on the edge of your seat and leaving you never knowing who to trust. It was like Scream on steroids. Like I said, there were no big set pieces in this film. In fact, a large portion of this movie was set in one location, in a bathroom that Leigh Whannell's character and Cary Elwes' character are trapped in. And throughout the duration of this movie, they're trying to get all the pieces to this little puzzle together and figure out why they're there and try to escape. And as the story goes along, it starts to create doubt in the audience, but even in the characters, they're growing more suspicious of each other throughout the runtime, and about midway to maybe 3/4 of the way through this movie, you just give up because you realize, wow, you have no clue who's doing what or where this story is headed, but you're along for the ride because everything else has been set up so well. Then when it gets to the very end, and this man who's been laying in the bathroom floor with Cary Elwes and Leigh Whannell through the entire movie just suddenly stands up, and you realize, wow, that he was the culprit all along, and he has done such a great job of crafting this master plan that not a single clue leads back to him. And some people might argue that it seems a little forced into the story, but I don't. I actually think it set everything up for that very well, despite there being almost no breadcrumbs leading up to it. It's the craziest thing. I think James Wan did a phenomenal job crafting this entire movie. And then as this guy stands up, he briefly explains to Leigh Whannell's character what the heck just happened in this bone-chilling final scene, and tells him basically he's going to rot in this cell of a bathroom forever, and shuts the door on Leigh Whannell, and the movie cuts to black and the credits roll. I was young when this movie was new, and this was probably, up until this point, the most uncomfortable ending to a movie I had ever seen. And I mean that in the best way possible. It had such a grim and disturbing ending, and it left a mark on people. It's no wonder the filmmakers wanted to pump out more movies, more sequels to this, but unfortunately what we got was a bunch of subpar sequels. But man, as a rating, guys, I'm going to give this movie a solid 9, right across the board. I really enjoyed this film and I highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it. But that's it for this one, guys. Please like and share this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you'd like to hear my thoughts on any of the sequels, or if there's another franchise you'd like for me to discuss, I'm taking suggestions, so let me know down in the comments section, and I will catch you guys in the next one.